Welcome back to the High Speed Garage.
Thank you for Contrast Printing.
We also want to welcome a new sponsor on board, Riverston Radiators and Fabrication. We want to welcome them into the garage and thank you both for keeping this garage open.
Thank you. Don't forget you can find us on the socials, Instagram, YouTube, and make sure you join the new HSG Pit Stop on Facebook. How you going, boys? I'm today's host, Hayden.
Hayden's hosting again.
Yep.
No one said don't do it, so he's keeping on going.
Yeah.
Yeah, rip in. I'm happy. I don't have to do it.
Neither do I.
How'd you guys go over the weekend?
Oh, not too bad. I went down to Marwalla. I've been doing it for the last, I don't know, probably what have I been doing it for a couple of years, going helping Reese.
Too long.
Not too long. It's pretty good fun. I like to pull shit apart and put it back together.
Let's get you back in a race boat, though.
Yeah, well, if anyone's got one going, let me know.
Free driver available.
No, Reese got me on a couple of years ago when Doggy and that were overseas. He didn't trust anyone else but me to pull his engines apart and put them back together.
Copy.
He trusted me, but I said no because I don't like airports.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't reckon he trusts me because I want to push the limits like he'd probably end up cheating, to be honest. No, we wouldn't cheat, but fuck, I'd push the limits. But no, we're down at Marwalla for the second last round of the series.
Just warming up the town of Yarrawonga before the GP's coming down.
Yeah. We'll be there in 3 weeks, will we?
Yeah, it's not long to go now.
3 weeks, yeah. And so I went down there. I just went down, I'm pretty sure no one from work listens. I might have snuck out of work at 11 and still got paid to 4:30.
Let go.
Ooh, that's a good.
You got let go early.
And I got to Yarrawonga at 6.
Oh, so you left straight from work?
I left straight from Buckenside.
How easy is that? Like, you don't even have to come and deal with traffic. You just jump straight on the M7.
Yeah, I fucked up a little bit because I haven't done a lot of, because I was in the city at the harbour.
Oh, so you got stitched up with traffic anyway.
Not really. So I've come out of, like, say, from the harbour bridge, and then Reese rang me just as I was getting onto the Anzac Bridge. So I've looked to answer my phone and looked up and went, oh, and then end up back in Darling Harbour.
Oh, no, you did the wrong exit.
So I've done a loop. It wasn't that bad. So you come out of the fish markets. And then I've come up off Anzac Bridge and I'm driving down and I was like,
Did you just go past Tent City? You see Tent City?
no, I missed that one.
Oh, that's just under there.
Oh, I must have been paying too much attention to where the fuck I've got to go.
You just had the shits because you missed
I was like, this has added 10 minutes to my trip already. This is bullshit. But now I've come off Anzac Bridge and I've come down and you get into, I was unsure when you go straight into the tunnel for the M4 to go like back west. Didn't know if it went
onto the M8 tunnel.
Yeah, I didn't know. I think you've got to go past the M4 tunnel to go up to the M8. I should know because I can build half of it.
No, but I was just about to say you're usually asleep or on the phone.
Exactly.
When the crane driver's driving.
Exactly.
Before you get to Parramatta Road, you've actually got to be hard in the left-hand lane. There's a tunnel entrance there.
No, I know how to get into the entrance to go to the M4. That's hard left.
Oh, you're trying to get
But to get M8 to go south.
Yeah, it's
hard
hard
I
left.
got you saying, yeah.
Is it hard left?
Yeah, it's hard left. There's 3 lanes that go, I just did it today. There's 3 lanes that go straight through to the M4, or there's 1 lane that goes to the M8.
Does that take you still go into the tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah, righto. So I was unsure.
You're in the M8.
This is on Wattle Street.
This is from the M8. You're already in the M8.
Off Anzac Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, you're already in. That's still the M8.
Hang left.
I don't know whether it's the first left or the second left. I think it might be the second left.
I think
Welcome back to the Sydney Shitty Tunnel
Yeah.
episode.
that's fucking crazy. But anyways, in saying that,
They're nice
I went into
They are good tunnels, but they're just
fucking brilliant
pain in
tunnels.
the ass to try and...
When you don't
go
know,
in the
they're
area.
fucking hard work.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so you had a shit time in the bloody tunnels.
Anyways, it was shit go.
you got to the Hume.
Got the Hume. 400 mile an hour down there.
Got multiple speeding tickets.
No, I did not. I don't speed. I haven't got enough points to speed.
You sped but didn't get caught. Don't lie to the consumers.
What do they call it? There's a word the police use.
Enthusiastic driving.
No. It's
Speeding with intent.
No, it's casual speeding. Every kilometre counts.
Oh yeah, that's
Casual
Yeah, because
speeding.
you are going to die if you go 1 kilometre over speed.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't die. I did fall.
Well, that's what they say.
I didn't do 1. I did 4, so I didn't die.
I'm fine. I got past that perimeter.
But anyways, yeah. So we got to Marwalla. Bit of lunch, a bit of dinner, I should say, not lunch. And we were there for the AFPGP because what else do you do on a weekend? You got nothing on to go racing outboards. And as always, we're top dogs because, you know, I crew for East, so we're winners.
I did see a blue boat with a checkered flag hanging at top.
I'm pretty sure there's only been one meeting he hasn't won on. That's because he ran out of talent and crashed when I've been crewing for him.
I was gonna say, oh, that was the one I wasn't there.
But no, it was a good meeting.
There's some other boats there too, but they're not.
Oh, that's
the
right.
outboards.
Yeah, saying that. We had Cavs.
Oh yeah, yep.
He
I saw
come
that went
down.
pretty well.
Yeah, not too bad. Did all right. Brendan Walsh running around in that. And we had Transonic.
Who was driving Transonic?
The young fella.
Not Nick,
Nick
Borg.
Borg.
No. The young son, I'm assuming.
Mark's Shepherdley's son.
Shepherdley's son. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Claire was going to jump in it, but she never did. I forget his name. They mentioned it. But yeah.
And then you had Nathan Alphabet. I'm sorry, Nathan.
Yeah,
cannot
Backer
pronounce your
Rats
name.
or whatever his name
Yep.
is.
He had one more.
One more.
One more.
Yeah.
And
Which
then,
is the old Craig Lewis boat.
Yeah, and then we also saw Brett Ramsey.
He runs only Saturday.
He didn't run Sunday.
No, he didn't run Sunday. So he did a cam sensor on Saturday morning. So they went. I did a bit of wander around the pits. I get the shits with the outboard series being so slow. So I wandered around and rev everyone up.
Yep.
And I went around to them and it still started. Like it's got no ignition. Pretty sure it's got no ignition. And they finally, I said, it's probably got no ignition or fuel. So they grabbed a spray can of, brake cleaner or whatever the fuck they got it.
Start, you bastard.
Pulled the air cleaner off and it's like pretty sure it's got no ignition. And I walked away because it was just going to go bang. But anyways.
Yeah, you know what it's like when you're trying to get something new done. Like I know Brett was under the pump a bit, getting it down there, and your brain just doesn't work when things aren't working.
Yeah, so it ended up being a cam sensor.
It's good.
Which is we've been done with before doing that sort of shit. Just you think 6 miles ahead of yourself.
Yeah, that's right. You can't think of the easy bits.
No.
The easy bits are usually the bits that are needing fixing.
Yeah, but they did well.
Pretty flash fit out though, isn't it?
It's not bad. Yeah, it's tidy,
Mm.
real nice and tidy. I don't think, from what I've shown, they haven't got the speed.
Oh, I've been speaking to him. He's nowhere near what sort of boost that he can run, and that was the first event that he was at. So
Yeah,
he was,
but
he
even
was saying he was not going to be anywhere.
even running against the 6 litres, the 6 litres are not even close to 6 litres.
What I'm getting at is, I know that Brett wasn't pushing it.
I get that, but the 6 litres are not
They
like
weren't,
cabs
but
and that. Kaz and the Sonic, like 110 if they're lucky.
Yeah, okay.
But looking on the bank, they weren't fast.
Mm.
So, I don't know. It is what it is.
No, I
See what
wouldn't,
happens in 3 weeks.
They'll get better.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's why I haven't taken my boat anywhere yet, because I'm just still
everyone expects
mucking
150 mile an hour
learning.
out of the box.
I'm just making sure that all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed before I go anywhere.
That's where I am at the moment now as well. Like, we had a pretty shit year last year and made a lot of mistakes, and we looked shit. And I want to make sure that we don't look shit, and I want to make sure we don't get towed back. So Brett didn't get towed back.
No, he didn't. He drove back every
I
time.
reckon he's in front.
I think he did the right thing about pulling out and probably maybe going home and sorting whatever
Going
issue
over
he
some
had,
stuff, yeah.
because he wasn't anywhere. So, but
I don't think he was
You know what's good?
but he did good. But you run at a meeting like that, you got divers,
Yeah,
you got all the bullshit.
That's what I was about to say. The good thing that he's done, he's gone to an actual race meeting where there's people to help, the right kind of personnel to do all the right things, instead of like basically what I'm doing, which is sort of the wrong thing. Just run on the river on your own. Yeah, I've got a boat that can come and tow me if I stop and whatnot. But if I turn that thing on its lid, who's coming to help me if I get stuck or anything?
The only benefit
that's the right way to do it. Go to a proper race day, then you can run it with no worries about safety.
Yeah. And they're proper turning too. Like, then we run with yours in the river. It's just a straight run.
Yeah, not a chance I'd be turning my boat.
They were still doing. They were still turning. They were doing.
Yeah, they were racing.
Racing.
They were testing.
But yeah, they got a long look at. Even Transonic and Cavs, they're not close to shenanigans or anything. They're not. Someone else might have a different opinion that was there watching and listening.
Yeah, they're still in test stage as well. Like, they've just put that engine together in cabs as well.
Yeah,
but
the more they do laps, the better they get.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty hard to compare something to shenanigans. Like, Pugs is probably the best driver that we have on the fucking circuit at the moment.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
In all classes, like and that boat's set up fucking beautifully too. So to compare things to that, like, everybody's got a long way to go to get to something like that.
But they're still not even close to like the Rastus or the Impulse or Lock and Load or.
Yeah, well,
they didn't look. They standing on the bank. They didn't look fast.
They're probably a little limited in what they can do compared to what those guys can do up here. We run a lot more club days and stuff they can go to. Like, just
I get that. 100%.
Rastus was there. These guys are learning and honing in on the perfection of the.
And he was a new driver.
If
you could tell me his name, or Shepherdley's young bloke, Chester might be able to look it up for me.
I'll get on the Googles.
But yeah, he didn't do a thing wrong.
Yeah.
Don't-
100%. Oh,
They drove everything. The boats looked perfect. Being Evercrafts,
that's all you can ask.
they didn't do anything stupid. They just weren't fast, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's all you can ask is the boat looks nice on the water. That's it.
Yeah, in my opinion.
And then the more they drive, the more they get used to it, the better they'll get, the faster they'll become.
100%. But yeah, anyways, back to the shitty outboard series.
Was it Alex Shepherdley?
Alex, yeah, righto.
that's his name.
Thank you, Facebook.
Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, my bad.
Words are sometimes very difficult.
I did hurry us up a fair bit on the ramp. My bad, because I wanted to get
What you were playing
the outboard races over and done with so I can go the fuck home. Because she's a long way from home.
Yeah.
And outboards are gay.
But yeah, anyways, back to
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay.
the outboards are gay, but it's your own preference.
Yeah, if you like. Yeah,
If you like touching boys, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't judge you on that at all.
Yeah, I got no. If that's your preference, you do you.
Yeah, and anyways, we ran around. Reeks won the weekend.
Was that because you crewed for him, or just because Reese is good?
Just because I crewed for him.
Okay, so Reese is shit.
Reese is an average driver.
Reese is mediocre, and then
Reese is mediocre. His
Joel
boat does a
is the
fair bit.
lead.
He's an average bloke in an average world.
Just doing average stuff.
Good meeting. I think Simon may have come second,
Oh yeah.
and Bricker might have come third.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you and Bricker, I've
They had
Mate,
actually.
I'm not
mention that too.
I'm not that into the outboard stuff, but the couple that I have seen that you and Bricker does seem to go pretty good. And Simon, you know,
Oh, hang on, now we changed that.
He's been out for a little bit because he's had his ankles getting surgery on, so I think he missed like pretty much all of last year.
Yeah, this is his first meeting back.
Him to come back and shoot into that's like being the top pointy bit. It's pretty
Yeah. Well, Bricker, if you scroll down a little bit further, Hayden. No, maybe up a little bit. But yeah, anyways. Ewan,
AI's done a better job than what the page has done.
Ewan and Nick Coles from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Who he's been over here for the last couple of years with his boat. They had a bit of a bingle in the reverse grid.
I did see a photo of Nick's boat upside down in the water.
Yeah,
It's
so
disappointing to see boats damaged.
well, Bricker's come back out because it's composite. So he didn't have. They did a little bit of glass work in the back of it.
Yeah,
But Nick's had a hole underneath. Probably say where the cell comes down.
Yep.
And then a bit further back was that hole in the top. Which is, I don't know how that happened. Because when I looked at it, it was all structural. Like all the bearers, you say.
Yep.
Didn't look like nothing was broken. But then I was chatting to Nick Coles later on in the day. And he thinks that it'll be ready for Yarra.
Is that the benefit is because it's timber?
I don't. Maybe not. But he said he's going to send it down to Sydney, and I'm assuming it's going to go to Ricky, because
Yeah,
I don't know many other people that deal with timber outboards. So I never asked him because I was busy with
You had your stuff going on.
I was just passing by, chatting to him to get everyone else on the water. But yeah, so other than that, Malwala was a good weekend, and yeah. Go on, what happened else? What did you guys do?
Yeah, right. Well, I went down to the Vintage and Veteran swap meet on Saturday. That was Saturday morning.
Spewing, I didn't get to that. I was pretty keen to go to that, and then yeah. So my missus works every Saturday, so I've got the kids on Saturday, and I was like, oh, I could take them to that.
It's a good chance to get them to go for a walk around.
But I had some work turning up to the shed and whatnot, so I sort of had to wait for that to come, and then by the time I started work on that as soon as I got it there, and by the time I realised, I was like, oh shit, I was going to go to that, and it was like lunchtime, and I was like, it's too late now.
Yeah, no, after lunch, like it was finished sort of 11. Oh, no. I was still going about
That's
1
early.
o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock sort of thing. They did a show and shine as well at the same time. So they had some trophies for show and shine, and then I think they went and had some beers down on the river, and a few people put their boats in, not drinking, but a few people that weren't drinking went and put their boats in, and went and did some hooning.
Some pretty cool boats in the show and shine, or
Yeah. Who's the butcher with the
Craig
drag
Cook.
car? Craig Cook. I'd never met him before. He's a pretty cool dude. He brought his American flatty down. That is flash.
Which one's?
Yeah, okay.
That's the one that does all the airbrushing? Oh, no, the one that sponsored the
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Craig's the one that had the Medill car. He's got a. Can't remember what it was called. That yellow Nitro drag boat that was down there too.
Yeah, Nitro Thunder.
That was Nitro Thunder, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, rightio.
Thunder
and then,
Down Under was his alcohol, but
Yeah, okay. Looked awesome. It's not a very common sight to see in Australia, to see a alcohol drag boat. So I love seeing that. But the chrome on those flatties were beautiful. Phil Day had his boat down there as well. That's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't think it's real far from getting on the water. Colin Johns had his Karma boat and the new junior boat that they've put together. That actually
That's
got
pretty
run on
cool, eh?
Sunday.
Like a club building a junior boat so they can all race. I know some other clubs around the country own boats, so we can get kids into this sport. So yeah, it's nice to see.
Yeah, another
them
club's
up
got
here
the
doing that
junior boat. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's a good looking boat.
It does look good.
Yeah,
It does look good.
nice clean white boat with good sign writing.
Yep. Who done the sign writing?
Brad
Contrast
from Contrast Printing.
How good's that?
Yep. Yeah, another plug. So then Sunday we went to club day, watched my niece Azalea get a win in the J1 class, and after that I had a couple of things to do, so I gave the baton across to Nudo. He went down there a bit later on.
I got there a bit later. I had an in-law cousin, whatever you feel like calling her. I had her 30th birthday, so I went to that in the morning, and then got on my bike, went for a little cruise, and then went down to the club day and just watched the seniors run. I got there probably, 12:30, something like that. So I missed all the juniors, but I watched all the big boats have a run, which is pretty cool. I've seen the best ones, I'd say, were probably the 5 litres. They had a full class, four boats. And
the best, I reckon, I watched, not being there, but I watched Dave Freeman's video that they posted.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a fucking brilliant video.
Yeah.
With Quiver running around the outside.
Yeah, so that was race 2. So the first race, Dave got the better of Quiver, and Dave ended up winning the first one. He was on the inside still, but yeah, Dave's boat looks like it's going pretty fast.
Yeah.
Quiver always looks good though.
Like Dylan Greentree, which if you watch the video, you'll see him on the outside of a lot of them.
Yep.
End up breaking a blade.
Oh, okay. Dylan, I didn't really see Dylan. I was a bit busy helping Ryan Hall sort of for the day because I sort of committed to helping him along. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to go and see Dylan. But the boat didn't seem because as competitive as it usually is. It was a little bit off. I don't know whether that was Dylan not being.
He might up me for this because he'll listen.
You better.
But I think being time out of the seat,
yeah,
and engine wise,
yep,
everything's picked up that little bit.
Yeah,
and he's stayed with the same engine wise.
He had some issues as well. There was one race he stopped in. He was coming up the front straight and sort of stopped nearly towards the end of the front straight and sort of just coasted past the turnboys. And like I said, I didn't get to go see him.
I think that may have been. Well, he sent me a photo of he had half a blade on one propeller.
Okay, that might have been then. Yeah.
But yeah, I think he definitely hate me for this because he definitely listens. But I think he's behind the 8 ball on what people have stepped up to do since he stopped competitive racing.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised though because I thought the last time I watched that run at a club day, I thought it was pretty quick. I sort of thought it's not top level, but
nowhere near slow.
I still thought it was gonna smoke all the logboats basically.
I think he will struggle in a river course.
Yeah, it looked like it sort of struggled top speed wise, which is normally like a KT's benefit.
Yeah, well the video video I watched,
they make good top speed, but they're a little slower in the corner with a bigger sort of heavier engine in the back and that sort of stuff. But it looked like it was sort of struggling with top speed. But
the video I watched with Cranky, and it was only they faced backwards or they faced forwards and then backwards, however they do their editing. And Dylan was still there and gained a bit of momentum on him. And they've gone around the corner, and as you can guess, KT wins is going to go around slower.
Yeah. Well, the KT, I would have thought by the end of that straight should have been in front of those other guys. I mean, I don't know what sort of speed Dave and Justin are doing, but yeah, I kind of just assumed Dylan to be in front of them at the end of the straight. But anyway, like
I think he's safe.
he's been out for a little bit as well, so he could be just getting used to
That's
stuff as well.
that's
So,
what I think.
yeah.
I think he's just easing back into not wanting to hurt an engine because he hurt a fair few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still fast.
Yeah, I've every faith that once he gets his eye in and
Yeah,
has a bit more
100%.
faith in the boat,
100%.
I reckon it'll be.
but I also
lot
think
better.
I think
Dylan's not out there to make up numbers.
no.
Dylan's out there to
No.
win races. So
I think everyone's also stepped up a notch in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that may be the case, but yeah, like you can't judge. We can't judge Dill on.
Oh God, no, I'm not
don't-
judging him on that.
yeah.
I'm just saying that's what it looked like from video point of view. He'll ring me when he listens to it and say, "Oh, this is what I did."
Yeah, he'll say you're an up ass, but
Yeah.
that's all right.
He does every
I'll do
day
that
anyway.
too.
well, you work with Dylan, so it's pretty hard to avoid him.
Yeah.
But the other races were pretty cool. Like the 5 litres, I'd say were probably the coolest ones to watch. But then there was no 6 litre, so there was only one 6 litre boat. So he had to run with the unlimited boats, which that was our mate Omen Daniel, and he gave me a bit of a flogging for punishing him last time on the podcast. When I wasn't really punishing him, I was just saying the boat was nice.
Who's complimenting the boat,
Yes,
not the driver.
yes, I was complimenting the boat, not bagging the driver.
I think he's a great bloke.
He did good. Yeah, he is,
He's sensational and
He
he
is.
helps everyone out perfectly.
and he loves it. He loves boat
And he
racing.
doesn't give big invoices.
He can hand my RC gear over.
I said to him at the start of the day, he went down to the ramp for his first race, and it took a little while because it was a really nice day, so there was lots of social boats going into the boat ramp, so it took a little while for the boats to get on the water. But I went down to the ramp, and he's there under the tree, and I walked up beside him and said, "Are you going to win?" He goes, "Probably not." I said, "Well, why the fuck are you going out there for?" I said, "You don't go out unless you've got the intention of fucking winning." He goes, "Oh, well, I don't know how fast that one's going to be. I don't know where he's going to be." And then he comes back and he wins the race.
Yep.
He won every race he went in for the weekend. So,
Go you good blue thing.
He went like a shot dog, that boat.
yeah.
It is very fast boat. It is.
He's
ripping boat.
he's driven it a little bit now, so he's getting used to it as well. So, yeah. It's a rocket. And it's set up
But
nicely to make it easy.
Yeah.
And it's
He's
the whole combination is just nice.
He's never been a slouch on a driver either. He's
No,
always driven
no.
a good boat.
Yeah.
As bad, he had fucking 20 odd years off it.
Yeah, so he won all the unlimited races, even though it's only a 6 litre. And then we had Scott Cleaver. He ran all the races. I think he ended up winning the unlimited part for the weekend.
Was he a bit held back from last club day, or
Maybe a little. Probably not a lot, but yeah, I would say probably a little. But it was still went fast down the straight line. But maybe he
corner.
backed off a little for the corners and made sure he got it round. But
yeah,
no, I wouldn't say it was. I wouldn't say it was a lot anyway.
yeah,
If
right.
he was, so. But then, yeah, you had Hawley and Arisen. It was his first time back in a competitive situation for a long time.
He'd be 12 months, wouldn't he?
Well, I kind of quizzed him on that. I sort of said, "How long since you've actually raced and been competitive?" He was like,
Oh,
"Shit, I
that'd
don't
be a
know."
long time. Yeah.
And I said it was probably back when he was driving Explicit.
Oh yeah,
said-
forgot
he
about
said-
driving that.
He
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, it probably was," and I think that was 2012, 2013, something like that.
Was it that
yeah.
long ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like, I wouldn't have thought it was that long ago.
So yeah, he's finally got a handle on the boat. It turns corners and shoots back the other way, which is good. But
Good
he's
start.
a little rusty. I give him a little bit of punishment when he come back after his first corner. I said, "Oh, you're a bit rusty, are you? You had a few hops out of that first corner." No, he took it well.
Does the boat seem to have better engine behind it now?
It looks fast. It looks fast on the water.
It'll have better
I think
fuel system behind it. It always had the engine.
Yeah, but that's what I'm sort of saying. Like, he's had problems with the fuel system.
yeah. Ryan's pretty smart. He knows all about that stuff. So he worked and worked and worked on getting that thing to work all right. And I think now he's got it in the ballpark. So now it's just a bit of fine tuning before it's super competitive, but it looked fast. Like I don't know what sort of speed he did, but at the end of the straights, it looked like it was moving. So
It was definitely quick
yeah,
down the chutes. The videos I seen, it was definitely quick.
yeah. And poor old Explicit, they had a major engine malfunction. I think it's like the first one they've had since they've had the barrier in there, and
they've had some minor issues, but
yeah, they've always had a couple of minor issues, but yeah, this one was a bit of a serious one, and it chucked a rod out into the floor of the boat.
What bit of the rod coming up?
The whole thing,
Cap and all.
cap and all.
well, the cap wasn't in very good condition.
Neither
But
was
the cap
neither
did
was the
exit the
lower
engine.
half.
Yeah,
It's just like rod bolts or
They're not sure. They want to go home and pull it apart and have a look. But my opinion is that rod was really hot before it let go. So
bit of blue on it or
it was blue.
like
yeah.
Spinner Bear and
that
wise.
was really
Well,
pretty
either
colours.
that or I wasn't there for the first run they had, but apparently something went wrong and they overheated the engine in the first little run. So they're wondering whether maybe that had a bit of an issue, like it's got a bit hot and the bearing clearance is tightened up and it's started a problem.
Spin, yeah.
So yeah, but I'm sure we'll hear back on that on the next one.
Well,
Yeah,
Tony
disappointing
listens.
to say it.
Tony listens, so give us a shout out, Tony.
Yeah, Tony's a bit freaked out at the moment. He's a bit scared that they might try and sell the boat, and then he's got no boat to go boat racing with, and
Pull your monies out of the share that you've lost in the last week and buy it.
Yeah,
you'll be right, Tony. There's plenty of us that could do with your help on our team. So
100%.
you'll be part of a team whether you have a boat or not.
I got a boat in the shed, Tony. Come and give me a hand.
Yeah, that was it for the club day. I didn't do really much else for the rest of the weekend. It was nice taking me bike for a little ride. I took it for a little squirt on my own, and yeah, I had a bit of a funny situation during the week. We got some mail in the mailbox, and the kids love getting the mail out of the mailbox. It's like their job kind of thing, but they love it. Anyway, with this election coming up, there's a lot of
all the junk mail.
yeah,
I've been so much
all
junk
the
mail.
shit stuff. Anyways,
It's just before fire season.
yeah. There's a pamphlet. I can't remember which side. It was Liberal or Labor, one or the other. Let's just, for argument's sake, we'll call it the Labor pamphlet come in the
Labor.
mail.
Both of them.
The Labor one come just as a pamphlet. The Liberal one come in an envelope.
Mm-hmm.
And Toby pulls out a letterbox, comes up to me, and he goes, "Dad, who's this one for?" And I said, "Oh, mate, that's just addressed to the house." I said, "You can open that." He went, "Oh, yay!" So he started opening the mail and got the pamphlet out of the envelope, and inside that envelope, there's another envelope to send something back. You know, like the prepaid postage sort of thing.
Oh, that's the fucking postal vote one.
And anyway, he said to me, he's got the envelope out and goes, "Dad, how come there's nothing in this one?" And I said, "Oh, mate, that's just in case you want to send something back." I said, "Do you want to send something back?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, well, you just got to put it in that envelope and you put it in the mailbox and it'll get sent back." So he stuck like the Labor poster in the Liberal fucking envelope, thinking he's going to send it back. And I almost thought, how good's that? Let's take that straight to the post office and send it. It's not going to cost me anything. This would be funny as. Anyway, he stuck it in the mailbox, and it obviously didn't go anywhere, and I ended up throwing it in the bin. But afterwards, I thought this would be
That would have
pretty
been
funny.
A good
Yeah, that's fucking good.
Straight back Liberal office, they open her up, and there's a Labor poster in there. Jeez.
In all seriousness, we need to fuck off, Labor.
Rightio, let's get into the sports section then. Probably the biggest news this week for us would be Todd Kelly's jumping into an offshore race boat this next couple of weeks.
Yeah, how cool's that?
Yeah,
I
that's
reckon
mad.
awesome.
They're not strangers to boats.
No, they
Remember.
did. They come from. They did a bit of ski racing with the
Yeah, did a
piston
bit of
engines
ski
and
racing.
whatnot.
And I remember Todd Kelly jumping in one of the 25 horsepower boats at Mildura.
That would have been awesome to
Oh
watch.
yeah,
Yeah, that was.
he
cool.
jumped in with one with Greg Murphy.
Yeah, was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was Murphy was in there.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Anyway, that'll be cool to see how they go.
yeah, I'd say more information will probably be coming out later on, but yeah, pretty exciting to see that. Another one was the top fuel cars were down at the Bend over the weekend, and Jason Heaney actually added to the HSG pit stop group. The top fuel record's been beaten this weekend.
Yeah, so Phil Reed's record of 3.72, I think it was 3.72 seconds for the ET got knocked off. It got into the 3.6s.
3.66 or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good for the 1,000 foot. Old Damien Harris. He beat Wayne Newby. I'm pretty sure it was just in qualifying too. Actually, it wasn't even in a final or anything. It was just in qualifying, and
right.
He was up against Wayne Newby. And Wayne Newby's run was pretty fast too. I think it was like a 3.76
for borderline
in the same
qualities
same
and
run.
everything.
So
Yeah,
they were both into it. I mean, they're both Rapisada cars, so you would expect that. But yeah, Damien Harris has got the record. I'm pretty sure Damien Harris also has the. So that was for 1,000 foot, and I think
it's not a quarter.
Nah, but I think Damien Harris has the top fuel record for a quarter mile, like a full quarter mile as well. I think it's 4.44 or something like that.
No, I don't think. I think it's still 3 something.
No, not for a quarter mile. It wouldn't be. No
It's
way.
not.
No way.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's 4.44 for the quarter mile record. But yeah, that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
See him
it's
getting
great
faster
to
and
see.
faster. I mean, the US cars they do those kind of ETs pretty regularly, but in Australia we're limited on our top fuel cars.
Yeah.
So to see someone get that fast is pretty cool.
With Rapisada team was over there as well, and they're slowly creeping up on it over here, and it's only going to matter of time.
Yeah,
And it's great to see our mate Wayne Newby jumping in and getting those numbers too.
Yeah, well, he can handle it.
Yeah.
He's a steerer.
Oh yeah,
He can jump in a drag car and steer it.
can steer straight. Rightio. So F1 in Japan, I was watching a bit of that over the weekend. I reckon the most exciting part of the whole weekend of racing in Japan would had to have been qualifying.
yeah.
Quali was good. I did
haven't
watch
missed
quali.
the whole thing, but I have heard the qualifying was pretty good.
Yeah, and Yuki Tsunoda didn't out qualify Liam, which is sort of what I was hoping to see.
I think that's the best part I watched about it.
Yeah,
Apart from that, it was here, there, and everywhere with that, because we finished the racing down there and purposely ducked straight in the pub and watched it.
Yep.
But the whole segment, it was all over the shop.
yeah. The qualifying there was a fair bit going on, which is sort of what made it really interesting to watch.
Yeah, they were here, there, and everywhere, and then it was sort of, as you'd expect, it was teams starting to build on what they had, but yeah.
Oscar Piastri, he was in up top. He had a pretty good time, and then
He was first for most of it.
for the Q3. Yeah, and then on their last run, Oscar stuffed his first sector up, and then went purple for the next two. But then Lando just did a little bit better than him, out qualified Oscar, and then Verstappen, he went and put some stupid lap on obviously nowhere near as good of a car. He just overdrove that car.
The way it seemed in that, it was 2 greens and then a purple.
It was
in the final dying seconds.
Yeah, those groups was all it took. That purple was such a good,
like a ridiculous amount of speed in the last sector.
Yeah,
to catch. I didn't see what the sector splits were, but to have a purple after 2 greens.
Yeah,
and then a purple, and then to get fair enough a purple in a third sector,
but to put it on number
one.
But
to put it on number one, that's just like huge.
It was a fast.
Yeah, it was
fast third section.
Fast third section.
Yeah. So
but that was a good one.
Yeah, Verstappen. There was bugger all passing at the front of the field. Norris tried to get past Verstappen in the pits, but he went full driving at the end of the pit lane. But
I heard he was mowing the grass.
Yeah, I was going to say he went lawnmower, not forward drive.
there was lots of dirt. Where they qualified, it's where they finished in the top 4, I think it was. Yeah, so it wasn't exactly exciting. But I heard MotoGP over in Texas, in America, was pretty good.
Yeah, so that wasn't last week. It was the week before. I just didn't report on it last week because I hadn't seen it yet. Because we record this thing sort of early in the week, I sort of didn't get to watch it till a bit later in the week. But the it was pretty cool. So Marc Marquez won the sprint race again. So up to that point, he's undefeated. He had an off in practice. He crashed in practice. So I don't know whether that was a start of a bad omen for the weekend or not. But
he doesn't crash often lately, though, does he?
Nah, he was crashing a lot on the Honda when he was trying to make the Honda as fast as Ducati. He was crashing a lot, and he went through some serious injuries that took him a long time to come back from. But once they got into the actual GP race, he was in front, leading that, no dramas, and he fell off halfway through the race. So it's his first DNF for the season. He
just dropped the bike, or he actually had a good stack?
No, he sort of just dropped the bike. I'm going to assume he probably got a little bit complacent and ran a little far onto the ripple strip and got onto the painted lines and just laid the bike over. Yeah. And he held onto it the whole way until the bike stopped, but it sort of snapped the foot peg off and whatnot, and he was trying to ride the bike with no foot peg, and he did that for a few laps. He did that for like 4 or 5 laps, riding with no foot peg on one side of the bike before he actually gave up and called it quits. Yeah. But the coolest, not coolest, but the weirdest thing was the start of the GP race. So it was a little bit wet there in qualifying and that, and before the race start. So the first couple of rows of the grid were out on the grid starting on wet tyres. I think pretty much the whole grid was starting on wet tyres, but there was like 3 bikes that were on slicks. So anyway, you've got up until I think it's 3 minutes before the start of the race that you can elect to change tyres. So they've had, all the bikes are on the grid and they've got the little cart next to them with the slick tyres on the warmers just in case they want to swap. Anyway, it's got to less than 3 minutes in, and I'm going to assume that Marc Marquez had this in the back of his head from the start because he was never on his bike. He never got on his bike. Everyone else on the grid was on his bike.
There's a rule to do that. They run to the pits. There's no one on the grid.
Yeah, no. So
you got to have more.
He'd already had planned, right?
You got to have more than 10 riders go there and they restart it.
No. So he'd already had this in his head that if I change my mind at the last second before the race starts, I can quickly run to the pits, get on the spare bike, which has already got the slicks on it, do the siding lap, or the warm-up lap, sorry. The siding lap's already been done. Do the warm-up lap, and I'll start from the pit lane. So with like, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds to go before they're meant to take off on their warm-up lap before the start of the race, Mark's just pissed off straight off the grid, just ran off. Then his team started to pack the bike up and started wheeling it off the track. And then pretty much the front 2.5 rows have done exactly the same thing. Just ran off, followed him, gone to get on their spare bikes. 30 seconds to go before they start
you can even do this.
Before they start the warm-up. But Mark never sat on his bike. He always stood next to his bike. Everyone else was sitting on the bike. But as soon as they seen Mark move, everyone went, fuck, we better go. We better go. So anyway, there was enough of them that ran off the grid.
More than 10.
It caused the...
So
it wasn't the number.
To a spare bike, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't the number of people that left the grid. It was the fact that the race directors red flagged the start because there was people still running on the racetrack, like on the grid, when it was about to go green.
Yep.
So they've red flagged the race. So everybody's bikes come back in, including everyone that was on wets, the 3 people that were on slicks. Everyone's come back into the pits, and then they've got another 15 minutes or whatever to start the race. So because there was a red flag from the starting, for the race officials for the start, everyone got to start back in their positions on the grid with whatever tyres they wanted. So Marquez didn't have to start from the pit lane. He still got to take up his pole position and start from there, which was everyone, was sort of blowing up about and thought it was premeditated, which it was. Or in my opinion, it was from the videos that I've seen with him standing next to the bike.
Well, from what I got told over the weekend about it, that if you do the same scenario, you don't touch your bike, but if you jump off and 10 people follow you, more than 10 off the grid, it's a non-starter and they restart the race.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything got anything to do with the numbers. So it was still going to go. It was still going to go green.
Told.
The only reason it got red flagged was because there was people still like riders still running across the track as it was about to go green, and the officials went, no, she's red flagged. Let's try again in 10 minutes.
No, I think that's the rule. If I reckon you look it up, that's the rule. That's what I got told.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what they said on the coverage. So, yeah, it was a pretty wild start.
So realistically, he didn't really get a benefit out of it. Like,
he
got a massive benefit out of it.
Massive.
But he didn't.
Going back to slicks, not wets.
Yeah, but everyone else was able to do the same.
Yeah,
Only
but he still got to start at the front, so he was planning on starting at the back.
Oh, he was
on the right tyres with everyone else on the wrong tyres. But he's got to take the right tyres and start at the front.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
And through the race, he pulled like a 2.5 second gap. And I'm just going to assume he got complacent because it looked like it was pretty simple. It was through like sort of the first couple of corners through the track, which are pretty easy flowing corners. And he's just apexed a little early, run up on the ripple strip, got on the white painted line and just laid the bike down.
Yep. But
yeah, so he's lost the lead of the championship now. So he's running second to his brother.
That's pretty cool.
Who is one point in front of him. So that shows how much a DNF hurts.
Oh yeah.
Like he's won every single race there has been, the sprints and the GPs.
They've won DNF.
Lost. Yeah, DNF'd one race and he's lost the lead of the championship after a couple of 3 rounds.
That's how it should be, but
yeah.
But see,
and Alex, his brother didn't even win the GP. He still runs second. So,
but I would have thought so. His bike. I obviously don't understand the rules of the MotoGP, but that bike that he had on the grid with the wets on it, when he dropped the bike, why couldn't he go round until they got got slicks onto the bike that's in the pits, scream into the pits, jump into that bike, and then keep going again? Or you have to start. You have to run on the bike you started with.
He maybe could have did something like that, like do the warm up lap on the wets, and then instead of pulling up to the grid, pull into the pits.
I'm saying when he stacked it.
Oh, once he stacked it,
it's all over.
It was too late. Then it was halfway through the race. It was.
Yeah, you can't get your bike up. There's no electric start on them.
Yeah, it was lap 20 of.
No, but you said
whatever.
He was doing laps.
Yeah, he did a few laps with no peg on there.
But surely he could have just
broken fairings
screamed
and
into
whatnot.
the pits, done a better job, and at least finished the race.
He probably would have, but he was that far behind. He probably would have never have caught anybody, which is probably why he ended up just sort of giving up.
Is MotoGP the same as, say, Formula One, how top 10 gets points, 10 onwards doesn't get points?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense then, yeah. So it's not like supercars.
I think he was running like last or second last or
So
something like that.
supercars,
So he was never going to get.
You're not getting points all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought the start was wild. All the commentators said they've never seen anything like it, and it was strange.
Yeah, I did see a couple of shorts come up on Facebook showing that. I didn't know when it was from. No, that's cool that it was.
Watching it live, it was like
weird shit going on.
Because I seen it and I'm watching the coverage, and they do a bit of coverage and talk about it before the actual opener of the show starts, and like a second before the opener of the show started, the camera was on Marc Marquez, and he just as he left, like ran away from his bike, the opener started.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, pretty sure he just ran, but I don't know. Maybe he didn't. I'm pretty sure he just ran away from his bike. Anyway, I'll watch the opener and we'll see. They shut the opener off. The opener got in for 10 seconds and they turned that off and went back to the live footage from the grid and went, there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Mark's left his bike. Pecco's followed him. Everyone else has followed suit. There's no one left on the grid. There's people running everywhere. I was like, holy shit, this is cool as.
Because it's different.
It's different, but I'm fucking nearly bet on it that if you got more than 10 blokes follow you, they restart the race.
Yeah, no. Well, they never said nothing about that on the coverage. It was the fact that the race director could have still threw the green flag out, and whoever just didn't take off, whoever wasn't on the grid, they're obviously starting from pit lane because they've decided to use the spare bike. But because as they were about to go green, there were still people running on the pits. Like riders had left their bike up the back there, running to the gate to go through. You can't obviously start with people
on the track.
Yeah, so they're throwing the red flag out, which I think meant 10 or 15 minutes to the next start. And everyone was expecting, like, everyone that took off to get penalties, especially the guys that were already on slicks. They'd already taken a risk thinking, yeah, the track's going to dry out, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
They've thought all of a sudden they're relegated to the front now, but for some reason they weren't. That might be something to do with the numbers. If more than 10 people do it,
it's more than 10 doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Where they were expecting to start at the front of the grid. So anyway, we'll see what this week has entailed. I'm pretty sure the next round is this weekend.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so they run more than supercars.
Oh man, supercars this weekend. They're over in New Zealand.
Been a fucking month.
Oh man, it's
well they've got to transport all their stuff and that.
No, they shipped the fucking cars there.
They ship the cars over.
Yeah, but still, like,
normally they fly them.
Yeah, they're doing it because it's
fucking tight asses.
It's not as expensive.
Well, they were only at the Melbourne GP like a couple of weeks ago.
4.
Nah, it wasn't that long, was it? Oh, it might have been.
They've had fucking
weekend,
3,
then
2.
There's been a weekend off. Then there was China. Then there was Melbourne.
4 weekends.
Yes, that'll be
Yeah, it's a long time off, and they lose momentum. So where's MotoGP this weekend?
This weekend they're in Qatar.
Okay, so that'll be a better track for them. Is it an exciting track or is it pretty boring?
Yeah, no, I think it's. I think every MotoGP track's nice. It's not like watching Formula One because
the bikes can actually pass each other.
Yeah. You think about like the tracks that they're like obviously top quality tracks that they all race on.
Yeah.
But you think about the width of like a Formula One car or any other kind of race car compared to a bike. You can run like 4 wide around some corners, and there's always passing going on. You run deep and run a bit wide. It doesn't really affect you too much, but the guy that gets it right gets passed on the start of the corner, but then passes back on the exit of the corner, and that happens quite regularly. So and any course I think is pretty good for MotoGP because they're such small things on a big track.
Oh, hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, I'll report back next week on how Qatar goes.
Sweet. All right, well, as we said, not that much is going on with supercars at the moment. This weekend they're going to New Zealand, but hasn't been much gossip. What I was going to do for this week, instead of trying to say, who's going to win certain races, over there they run the Jason Richards Trophy, right? Which is the most points accrued over the weekend. What I was going to say off you boys, who do you reckon is going to get the Jason Richards Trophy? So who's going to be the most consistent over the 3 races this weekend?
I'm going with Brody.
You're going to go with Brody? I'm going to go with Will Brown. As much as I am a Brody fan, the way Will Brown's been, I reckon he's on for a...
Yeah, you're probably right there, but I think Brody's just coming into his own in the team.
Oh, look, I'll be very happy if you're right. I was going to pick Feeney, but I just don't like him.
I don't like Feeney
I
think he's a little sport brat.
I don't think he's consistent enough.
Feeney's not?
No.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think
he's fast and can win races, but I don't think he's... I think if he gets into a position that he doesn't like not first, he
has a little bit of a cry.
Yeah, he might go backwards a little easier than someone like Will Brown. if Will Brown's a bit more sensible with points.
Yep.
So if he knows if he can't push for the win, let's just maintain this good second and get good points, which is
Well,
which is a
it proves
characteristic
that
of a
it,
good driver.
first year he won the championship in the team.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly
you need to be
Feeney
when
had
you're
every
running for a
chance to do
championship.
that.
Feeney's had every chance, and in listening to a few things through the week from like Win Cup and all that, from the advertisement wise, that they advertise Feeney as like the number one driver, which I don't think he is.
No, he's not. He clearly isn't.
And they still, Feeney should be doing this. Feeney. No one hears about Will Brown. And he's 10 times better driver than he.
He's doing really well.
And they said if a few things went his way, he should be winning.
Well, things haven't gone Will's way, and
There's plenty of things. It doesn't matter about your way. It's your driving style that haven't gone your way.
Yeah, like I said, he's fast, but he's not consistent. And to win a championship, sometimes you've got to concede defeat.
Yeah.
And go, I need to get some good points from this race. Let's just finish second and get some good points instead of trying to push,
trying to win,
making a mistake, ending up third. Just maintain a good second, get some points, and move on to the next round where your car might be a little bit more competitive.
Yeah,
I think they've got a great team in team championship points, and they'll always be number one.
Yeah.
But Feeney may get the boot because he's not producing the wins that he is predicted on himself.
Yeah.
Or they've predicted on him.
Like, I'd be surprised if Cam wasn't getting spoken to by Win Cup.
Well, that's who I was going to say. If you're going to say Brody, you're going to say Will Brown, I'm going to say Cam Waters.
Look, it burns me to pick a Holden driver, but I've been a Will Brown fan for a long time. I just think he's just a ripping dude.
I thought he's always been a fucking great driver since he came into it.
Excellent driver, yeah. Yep.
I was at the Sydney Motorsport Park and watched him drive those TCR cars.
Yep.
And yeah, that was
really good.
You can see, like, a lot of people that are riding into the supercars, they only see what happens in supercars. They don't see what those guys do, because those guys don't just drive those cars. There's lots of other cars that drive as well, and watching Will in that TCR car was pretty impressive.
I was listening to another podcast today about them all going over to drive.
Yeah, they've been driving
Topo?
a lot of stuff. Yeah, Topo.
Guess the driver that didn't go over.
Feeney.
Yep.
He did GT4. He did GT at Phillip Island, I think he did. Like, wouldn't you think you're just about to go racing at bloody New Zealand? Wouldn't you want to go and race on the track you've only done?
100%. Are you racing for the championship of GP, or are you racing for a supercar championship?
Yep.
And all the drivers went.
Heaps.
The top of the drivers went there and
jumped into stuff.
Everything. Trans Ams, the whole fucking works they did.
Yeah.
And he just went, oh no, I'm just going to drive the GT car.
Yeah. Hear what Scott Pye's driving over there?
No.
That is ridiculous.
Scott Pye's not a V8 supercar driver at the moment. He's a co-driver for Triple Eight, and he's gotten the steer of one of their touring cars. So they've got a little bit more of a TA2 sort of style class over there. So they're all a single style chassis, and you put a body on top.
It's a Toyota
like
engine.
a Toyota NASCAR.
Guess the horsepower on it at the wheels.
I don't know, 600?
740, 720?
790.
No.
787.
787 was it?
That's what he was
at
saying
the wheels.
Today. Yep. That's a lot.
Yeah. Just on the
I think
that's
it's
a
too much.
standard NASCAR engine.
I think it's too much. I reckon he's going to blow the tyres off it.
Well, they reckon the tyres.
It's got supercar tyres on it.
And the supercar tyres are done at supercar engine.
Yeah, that's right. They're designed
which
for
is
600 horsepower.
Nah, the supercars got more than that.
No, 600 horsepower. Yep.
At the wheels.
I
No
think it's at the
fucking way.
flywheel.
They got more than fucking that.
No, that's not what I heard.
They're into the 700s.
They're 750.
What's
every day
Google
of the
say?
week. Every day of the week they're into the 700s.
750 yet.
Gen 3.
Just while we're on the GT cars as well,
Oh, fucking.
we've got to give
Tom.
Tom Heyman a rap. He won his class in the GT4 down at Phillip Island.
Right.
Yeah, Method Motorsport.
Method Motorsports. Yeah.
I've been and watched Tom.
He's fucking
drive like the what are they? The little
Aussie
cars.
Yeah.
He started in the Aussie cars and then he went to the Trans Ams and
Smoke the Trans Am.
He's pretty good in everything he gets in.
I've got it in front of me here. Gen 3 supercars are designed with a 600 horsepower engine. So that'll be engine at the flywheel. A reduction from the previous generation, 650 horsepower.
So they got more cubic inches and make less horsepower than they used to.
They're designed to go round and round and round for a long time.
And yet they haven't.
Oh, a couple of let go, yeah. But good thing is, we're not running the show there. So,
Work that out.
Yeah.
5.7 litres. So what it annoys me to start with because they're two separate sized engines. So the Chevrolets are allowed 5.7 and the Fords are only allowed 5.4. I understand because there's different engines, but that's
over a cam shit.
In my mind, that's a joke.
Because the Ford build a pushrod engine.
But Ford wants to promote the Coyote engine, and
I don't give a fuck what you're promoting.
It's not really being promoted that well.
Not promoted in NASCAR either. Still doing a pushrod engine there. They won't change that.
Yes, I don't know why they're doing it that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of money's getting thrown at it too.
All that stuff frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates heaps of other V8 fans. Which is why people don't like watching anymore.
Yeah, things have changed a lot.
It's not an even play. Like every single time you hear people complain about parody this, parody that. Well, let's get the same engines to start with. That's like a really easy, simple thing to do. Let's run at least the same cubic inches, and see who can make the most horsepower from that. Yeah. And if you've got similar horsepower from both the Chev and the Ford engine, and one car can't compete, bad luck, mate.
Yeah, because you're going to get a benefit out of this. You're going to get a benefit out of this track, and then this track's going to be bad. Yeah. But I think they don't really. As far as I can understand from the chats that I'm hearing over the other podcast, it's not. They're not trying to paritize as close as they can for every track. They're trying to make sure that both cars can win at Bathurst, because who gives a shit about every other race realistically, apart from Bathurst? And the Fords, I think they were really fast across the top, and then the Chevs were really fast along on the straights.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks to see, but realistically, it was hard to know. You can see it, but over the whole race, it's hard to notice it as a general punter. Anyway, so on to cover the footy tipping for this week.
I've got a good grow up about that.
Who's on the ladder?
Well, we're all out of our tipping comp, but the two fucking gay boys are thinking about splitting the prize money.
Gay.
Fucking Reese and Greenie.
No, they won't split it. They won't split it.
But
There's got to be a winner. You can't split money. That's like cheating.
So Reese and Greenie are on top.
Reese and Greenie are the only two left in our big hitter one. Yep. So they will pick something this week.
So you need to put it down so you can't split it.
Well, there's no rule against Reese messaging Greenie and saying let's split the money.
Well, all they have to do is just.
Well, they've still got to tip. They've still got to tip a game.
Yeah.
So they both got to tip the same game, and they got to tip opposite teams.
Yeah, which they're on to it.
That's fine if they want to do that.
It's no different to you or Matt when you do.
If they want to do that, do that.
That's exactly what they're doing. That's why I tried to get them to do it weekend gone, because they were both in there, and there was two games running the Sunday.
The only reason I did it is because I was getting stuck. I was getting stuck at the grand final, and we couldn't pick any other teams because it went on that long. I couldn't get out of it.
It doesn't matter.
Other than that, there's not a chance I'll be splitting the money.
You pick the team. You're getting stuck. We hope for the win.
Yeah. I did it. We did it. So you couldn't get back in as a double round.
Oh, that's exactly what's going to happen. So you want a double round happening because you're not in it.
But at our point, it was going to happen, and it was going to go through to the next season.
So? Who gives a fuck about waiting a couple of months?
Just because you get out first round.
Yeah. Next one, I won't. I'll be like 5 rounds in.
You've said that the last fucking 7 times.
No, I'm good for the second round. I'm like 3 rounds in.
I did it because it was
definitely
ending
not winning.
and I was getting stuck. They're not getting stuck. They just want to split the money.
Yeah, Reece messaged him on Saturday.
If I was in that position, not a chance I'd be splitting the money. I don't care who asked me.
I said the same thing. I said, no way.
No,
and he said, I messaged Greeny and they're going to split the money.
Splitting the money. I'm beating you.
And that's why...
If you want to tip the same game, I'd probably be in for that. So there is a winner at the end of that, but I'm not splitting the money with you.
Well, that's why I said to the group chat, I said, these 2 gay boys want to split the money, let them pick the last 2 games, because this was Saturday. So there's still 2 games on Sunday to play.
If it was me at the end, I would say, look, there's 2 of us left. I'm not splitting the money. One of us chooses the game. The other one chooses the team.
Which is what? Who did that?
So basically...
Brendan and Rick?
Anyone. So if let's just say it's me and you left, right?
Yeah.
And this week I say, okay, this is the game we're picking.
Yeah.
You get to choose the team first, and I choose the other team, and the winner's the winner. There's no splitting prize money.
100%. I guarantee I've never won, and I'm not even going to come close to winning because I'm shit at tipping. I'm in the top 10 at the club.
You are not.
Yeah. Just because everyone's on 48 points.
Oh yeah, so you're about fucking 85th. Not because everyone's on 48 points. You're third.
Exactly.
I am actually third.
Were you
Genuinely third? Actually, no, I think fourth.
Fourth, I think you were.
Yeah, rightio. Well, it's spicing up.
We'll find out.
I'll wait till next week.
Yeah, see if it gets better next week. All right, so we'll cover a couple of questions.
Listener questions.
Yeah, listener questions from from all you guys. We've got Lenny from Lismore. I think that one's another bullshit one.
That sounds a bit like who was it? Barry from
Bankstown.
Yeah. Lenny from Lismore sounds like Barry. It's the same bloke. It's
well,
the same
at
bloke.
least it's not. At least it's not anonymous. It gives us something to talk
yeah,
about.
well, it's better than being anonymous.
Radio. So club days versus spectacular. Is the NDC hurting the sport?
Well, that's 2 different things.
Well,
club days and spectaculars.
I think it's more just he's probably just saying boat racing, like big meetings versus small meetings. Is the end? Well, I sort of think is the NDC hurting the sport for club days and spectaculars? That might be a better thing.
It's not hurting club days. It should make club days better.
I think it should make club days better because they're trying to test their stuff.
Spectacular at some meetings, maybe, but if you look at the longevity of the NDC, when they start moving around with sponsorship and all the other stuff, as in now, the NDC is focusing on clubs with money.
Mm-hmm.
And when they start getting better sponsorship, it'll go to other clubs.
That's what I've heard too, yeah.
So it'll just move around the whole state or country.
There's obviously a little bit of hurt from the smaller clubs at the moment that can't pay for the telly. But I think later on down the track,
Is it
will
hurting
actually
them though?
support. Well,
Is it hurting them though, or is their club day?
Well, I sort of see major I don't reckon it's hurting club days, but I sort of see majors starting to lose some numbers, and I don't think it's because
I don't think they lose numbers at all.
The NDC is definitely not hurting the sport.
I think it's propping up the sport.
100% it is. some people will say, "Oh, it's hurting our spectacular," but you know what? Some clubs think they have a spectacular and they don't.
What are you saying with that?
Like they think just because we run a meeting and we call it a spectacular, it's a spectacular.
It's just a 2-day event.
It's no different to a club day.
Yeah.
Like unless you've got a serious race meeting, like all the big clubs sort of do,
Yeah.
that drags people from interstate and all the rest of it. You can have a club day all you like and try to advertise your big club trophy and try to get people from interstate to come. But that doesn't mean it's a spectacular.
No.
I'd give it an example of saying that is Raymond Terrace made their spectacular, and I'd say Andrew made that the biggest it could be because he rang. He was relentless on the phone call.
Yeah, that's well and truly before NDC though.
It is, but they still went there because of him, because he travels. So we'll do you a favour.
He supports their clubs.
He supports the sport. So we'll do you a favour and come there. And it was a good meeting. The next year, which was the year just gone with the NDC, and it diminished a little bit. A few people still showed up, but it still dwindled. But the Terrace is not a spectacular event.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for them to do. That's what I'm getting.
They're club day or something. You're saying
they're a major club day. Say what they used to run is a trophy day, which is a day and a half. So you did your stuff on your Saturday morning, like your scrutineering and whatnot, and then you did 1 or 2 races on the Saturday afternoon. Then you did races on the Sunday.
Yep.
As a trophy, they called it how long?
Yeah, it was for a long
6
time.
or 7 years, 10 years, whatever. It's a trophy day. And that's what they are. They're not a massive Windsor club or whatever. They haven't got a massive bank behind them. They haven't got the facilities ramp-wise to facilitate 50 boats.
Yeah, it's a significantly smaller pit area.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other clubs like that. You know, they think just because we call it a spectacular, it's a spectacular. It's our major day. Everyone should come. They get the shits when people don't turn up. But it's not. It shouldn't be a spectacular. It should be a club day, or like you say, a trophy day. The NDC is not taken away from those clubs.
It's trying to
those clubs
promote the sport
wouldn't get
of
the
what
votes
it is.
anyway. I don't think. Yeah, the NDC is definitely not hurting the sport. It's trying to make it better.
I think it's promoting the sport,
and it is making it better. Yes, they're going to a couple of race meetings at the moment, but they're the race meetings that can sort of afford TV coverage, all that sort of stuff, because they're a bit more bankrolled.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. If they can afford to do that, great.
Which means they run better meetings.
It just so happens that they can run the better meetings because they are a bit more financial, and good on them.
Yeah.
They've done the hard work and got into that to be able to do that. But then you got your smaller clubs that want to do it, but can't get boats to turn up. And you know, I don't know what everyone else is like, but for me to go to a race meeting, I couldn't give 2 shits about what sort of prize money you're offering. Obviously, I would.
A prize money return helps.
I would like a shitload of prize money, but that's not why I go or why I don't go.
The prize money that you get
my main reason
barely cover your cost of fuel to get there.
Yeah,
my main reason why I would go to a race meeting is competition.
Yeah.
And if you're a serious racer, you're going to race other people. Other good people.
You're not
that
you're
can
not
beat
turning
you.
up to be the big dog to win.
I don't want to be the king of the kids. I want to race the best guys there is on the track.
That's right.
So if you can put up a race meeting that can attract all the best guys in the sport in my class, there's a good chance you'll probably drag me there. If you can't do that, what's the point of me going there?
Yeah, because you
Offer me a shitload of money. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. The money you're going to offer me isn't going to cover me cost of going there and doing what I'm trying to do anyway. So, why bother? You want the prestige of beating the best of the best. You know what I mean? Like the age-old saying goes, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So you're not going to be the best if you go to a meeting where the best aren't there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what drags me to a race meeting. You know, I could be a one-off person, but that's what drags me to a race meeting. And there's a lot of clubs out there that try to run spectaculars that can't drag the competition there. So that's probably why the rest of the competition don't really turn up.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with that. That's all okay. But know your position in the sport.
There's different tiers of events.
Exactly. Know your position in the sport and build what you can at a club day sort of level. Use your own club boats and your local guys to build yourself into a position where you may be able to attract some boats. And then all of a sudden your meeting will take off. That's what I see the NDC trying to do. You know, at the moment they're going around with the clubs that can afford it. But once they get a fair bit of sponsorship and stuff going on, they'll probably head to other clubs that do put on good race meetings that can't quite afford the TV sort of deal.
Wouldn't it be cool if one of the events got over to WA?
I don't think you can ever get there because of the...
I reckon it'd be awesome if we could.
The restriction,
it would be awesome if we could, but
the restrictions on the sound over there is ridiculous.
Yeah, but
from where they run,
that's the track that they've got.
From where they run,
well, there's a couple of tracks over there. There's not just one.
There's not just one, but from where they run, mostly they're sending boats over here to race.
Yeah,
you can't run blown boats. You can't.
It'd be awesome to get an event over there.
That noise restriction is probably coming from.
They'd be mad to see.
They don't have a massive meeting. They don't put a lot of money into the town.
No,
like economy wise or anything like that. Where if they could build to a bigger race meeting and attract, you know, if, at the moment, let's say they've got 2 boats over there that make a shitload of noise, but the meeting doesn't generate a shitload of economy. If they can bring 25 boats and all of a sudden the town gets a shitload of a boost, they might look at the noise limit a bit differently.
They may do, yeah, you're right. That's all a matter of saying, we can do this, can you let us?
Yeah.
Talk to your local people in government and, you know, try to get things better.
Yeah, 100%.
We've got another question from Geordie Smith. He's actually the driver of Mace. He raced his first event over at the Winter Club Day yesterday on Sunday.
I've seen that boat there.
It's a pretty good looking boat.
Yeah, it's a nice little 15-footer. I love me little boats.
That's the old full throttle boat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I met Geordie. It was pretty cool, dude. He's thrown in a question this week. Is the speed cap for training runs of 70 mile an hour a bad thing? I was going to just say, like, that's more of a ski racing thing, and we've got the circuit racing background, so it probably doesn't sort of suit our opinion that much. But
I was always under the theory that 60 mile an hour was just speed limit on the river.
Yeah,
What do they mean? Training runs as in, like, on your own, just put in the river and do what the fuck you like on your own time? Or do they mean like a sanctioned training run?
As far as I can tell, it's not a sanctioned event. It's just jumping on the river and going for a burn. And I sort of think over 70 mile an hour with a skier on the back. Look, I'm not a high speed skier, so I don't know. But I sort of think, like, if you're pumping it up the river and you're going over 70 mile an hour, I think you probably should be where some rescue crews are. If something goes shit, if you come around a corner and there's someone else coming the other way, that's sort of the thing that I sort of get nervous about.
I don't think this
speed's not going to help, but it's going to be better than
regardless of you doing I could do that in my mono
skiing.
Yeah, and it's fast, and you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Well, I'm saying I don't really think
fast. You shouldn't be. That's what I think. I'm sure the speed limit is like 60 miles an hour on the river or waterways. Someone can ring us up and tell us that.
Speed limit.
Look, it's probably a really common thing, and like we're probably not.
But it's fucking fast.
Don't understand what everyone else is doing, but yeah, I don't. I certainly stay right away from corners when I'm testing my boat, and I'm nowhere near up it when I'm testing.
River corners are different too.
Yeah, there can be anyone coming around the corners, and we've seen heaps of shit go on.
Yeah,
with people hitting people around corners. So yeah, I don't see that over 70 mile an hour is a good thing to be doing anyway. But yeah, look, I'm not that good of opinion.
I don't like testing on my. I know it's only a circuit boat, but I don't like testing on my own.
No,
I do it, but
only for a straight line shit.
Yeah, it's just a short little squirt. I don't let it stretch its legs. It's just a little run to make sure everything's happy and everything's working. Yeah,
it's like a shakedown.
In saying that, I'd say 80% of the social boats, monos, will do more than 70 miles down up the river every day of the week.
Yeah, I understand that, but we're saying, is it a good thing that they're reducing that speed? Like, yeah, everyone does it, but is it right?
But they're not reducing the speed. Where are they reducing the speed to be governed?
Well, there's no speed cameras on the river, but it's more. I don't know anything about this, but yeah.
Someone else can explain it to us.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I always thought it was 60.
I didn't think there was a speed limit.
Yeah, I didn't think there was.
But someone else can show us. Maybe we can put a poll up this week.
I'm good at polls, yeah. I'm really good at polls. Anyway.
Who knows the real fucking speed limit of the river?
So we'll jump on to meme of the week.
I know what the biggest answer will be. I just like milk that tastes like real milk.
Yeah. No, that's the number one add-on for a poll. Yeah. All right, so boys, you got a meme of the week?
Yeah.
Might start with Joel. It looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah, I am. Not really. Yes, I am.
Go for it.
Hang on, give me a second. Righto, here's mine.
Well, come on over here, son. I'm going to hit you with more combinations in the middle school locker room. Who the hell you think you talking to? I tell you what, son, why don't you just come on over here and I'll turn them glasses into contacts. Nah, son, you don't want to mess with me. I tell you, Papa kicks so much ass my feet stink. Oh, I'd like to know who the hell you think you talking to. Come on over here and I'll fold you up like a 4th grade love letter. Yeah, we went and watched that boy play football the other day. He just ain't got no grit to him. I told him, I said, son, you got to fight. You got to look like the third monkey trying to get on Noah's Ark when it started raining. What'd you say to me, son? Come on over here. I'll drop you like a hot skillet. You talking to me? You campaigning for a ass-whooping, son, because you about to get elected. You talking to me? Oh, I tell you what, son. Why don't you just come on over here and I'll knock your teeth so far down your throat you ain't gonna know where you spitting the shit. Oh, well, come on over here. I'm gonna drop you like a Dodge transmission. Said he was gonna whoop who? That sumbitch couldn't beat a Soapy Pecker. Oh, well, come on over here, son. I'm like a bicycle with no seat. I'm gonna get in your ass. Oh, you want to mess with me? I tell you what, you're gonna let 2 seconds of courage ruin the rest of your life.
Oh, that's fucking good.
Oh, the best one is, come over here, I'll turn them glasses into contacts.
I've been doing some ass with it smells like shit.
Right, what do you got, Yudo?
Oh, righto. Here we go. I'll play him.
Trump, you kicked us in the guts today, but you did it while holding an impressive chart. And all right, mate, 2 can play at that game. If you're rejecting us, here are some ways we Aussies can reject you and your supersized culture. No more Halloween. It's dumb. Eating too much chocolate and egging your neighbour's house should be for every day of the year. And no more Gatorade bongs. From here on in, we use Spring Valley bottles, like our fathers before us. For tobacco, of course. We're rejecting smash burgers. It's Australia. When we're smashed, we have kebabs. However, unlimited soft drink refills is actually a pretty grouse idea. I do want to get that going here, credit where it's due. No more Netflix and chill though. In Australia, it's 10 play and root. And just on that, we say barrack when it comes to sports, not root. The only rooting that happens in sports is when Essendon rooted my multi last week. I go for the Bombers, but how dare you beat Port Adelaide on a Thursday? And finally, if you really piss us off, we'll go nuclear and withhold new episodes of Bluey. You'll be forced to talk to your kids, and I don't think you want that, America, so come at us, you grog.
Well, we're on fire with the memes this week.
Good job, boys.
We'll hold back episodes of Bluey. You'll have to talk to your kids.
Yeah, fuck that.
I do love getting into a bit of Bluey. Good job, boys, finding some decent memes. I'm still yet to find a decent one since my first week. Don't forget, you can find us on the socials, YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Make sure on Facebook you join the new HSG Pit Stop group where you can put your own questions and get around our community. Thank you very much.
Get in there and support everybody, and hopefully we put some polls in sooner or later, and you can vote on some shit.
We'll get up on those polls, won't we, Hayden?
Have a good week.
Righto, catch us later.
Love yous.